Hello everyone, this is Anand. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And what blog series I'm creating? I'm creating a blog series about the zero trust and identity, how you can secure the zero trust. So in last video, what I covered zero trust and identity. So I'll just give you the high level what I covered in a last video. You can go back to my last video and check in detail what is the world has changed, why the old security was failing, what is the zero trust and zero trust architecture. So I explain all these things in my last video, in previous video, so you can check it and get more detail. If you have any comment, you can definitely if you have any questions, you can comment on this video. I'll try to answer it. So what attacker actually do, right, and how attacker do the attacks to gain access on your environment. Some of the real attacks that zero trust would have stopped, that's also I explain in my previous video. So zero trust identity, it has the eight pillar. So what I'm trying to do, I'll create a multiple video regarding all the eight pillar, but the conditional access policy is a very first thing. In this video, we will be discussing about the conditional access policy, what's the conditional access policy, and what is the benefit of conditional access policy. Okay, so I'll quickly show you about the conditional access policy. So this is one of the diagram which I created, uh, through which you can get more detail. Okay, so conditional access policy. Imagine your organization get a hit by the credential stuffing attack at 2 a.m. A thousand of username password combo are being spread at your Microsoft tenant. Without the conditional access policy, every valid credential gets a token. But if your environment has a conditional access policy configured properly, you can block it. With the conditional access policy correct configuration, if bad actor has multiple end users credentials, they 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 must have to do the MFA. Then only they will be able to guess the company access resource. So in this conditional access policy, we can control it. So how the what conditional access policy is? Conditional access policy is Microsoft Entra ID policy engine. You can think of it as a massive if the statement, if and then statement setting on your interface between the user and every cloud app they try to access. if if is made up of the signals, right? So who is the user, what device they are on, what they are connecting from, what app they are trying to access, and what's the sign in risk score right now for that particular user. Then in a control grant access. Before granting access, we can configure the multiple rule in a conditional access policy. I'll show you in a demo. We can if all the condition are success, then we can in a grant control we can configure MFA. End user has to complete the MFA process. End user must have to access, or the conditional access policy requirement will be the compliance devices. If the device is not compliance, then end user will be not able to access the resource. So what is the compliance policy? The compliant devices. The compliance device is managed through the Intune. We can configure in Intune certain which are defined by the IT security team. Rule maybe the like your device has the CrowdStrike is a antivirus, right? It is a kind of SIM solution, and it is kind of one of the security requirements. So you can configure it if the security application are not installed on a device, then it will mark as a compliance. If the device is not fully encrypted, that device will mark as a non-compliance. So that its work, the conditional access policy work on a signals. It's evaluate the conditions, who is the user, is that which application, which device platform, and location and IP. If the user is coming from the trusted location or not, then sign in risk, the client app, then authentication strength, right, and the user risk. If if the policy match, let's say the user and group, the policy match all enable policies scanned, evaluate the condition, combine the control, it check the if the device is coming from the trusted location or not, the report only mode. So you can configure the conditional access policy in a report only mode as well. So what does report only mode? You can configure the conditional access policy, but actually it will not apply to the end user device, and it will not block the end user access. It will only give you the report how many user will impacted with this condition. I will show in a demo as well. Execution apply. So make sure whenever you are creating any conditional access policy, make sure your one of the global admin account are excluded from the conditional access policy, because if it is if all the accounts are blocked through the conditional access policy, you will be not able to access the company resource. Even you will be not able to get into the Intune portal. So that's a best way, best practice. Exclude always one account, the break glass account, from the conditional access policy. If execution applied break and continuous evaluation, real time evaluation, then only the token will issue. And if after the token issue, we in a condition access policy, we can configure a rule, either grant the control or block the access. Before granting the access, we can configure the another rule required MFA. Although all these configuration are satisfied, but still end user must have to do the MFA to access the company resource. Okay. So the key thing is, it the conditional access policy work is based on a if and then condition. If user device location and single sign on, if sign on risk are meted, then the grant control, right? And even after the grant control, you can control the session as well. So you can control, let's say, that session will valid for how long, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days, or 1 day. So that particular thing, or 10 hours, you can configure it. One critical component before we build the conditional access policy, evaluate every matching policy. If user match the three policy and all three policy applied, most restrictive control win. So what does mean by this? In your environment, let's say you do have the multiple conditional access policy. Whatever the conditional policy has the most restriction, that particular condition policy will apply to the user devices, and that whatever the configuration are part of the configuration restriction are part of the condition access policy, those will apply to the end user group. For example, let's say there is a conditional access policy which require the MFA. Then another compliance policy say the another conditional access policy say your device must be to access this company resource, you must be coming from the compliance devices. If that both the condition will satisfied, then only you will be able to access the company resource. Okay. Now I'll show you the one diagram, right? How the authentication flow step by step. Device compliance evaluation. What Intune check before granting access? Let's say there is a one application and end user is trying to access that particular application. In our case, we are taking example of the O3 Office 365. So user sign in on O365. in our conditional access policy, we do have a configuration check if the device is compliant, then only allow the access. So here, first thing it will be checking the enroll in a Intune device registered. If no, block the access. If yes, the Intune compliance policy is assigned, right? If it is not assigned, then by default there is a Intune compliance policy which will automatically assign to the device. If the compliance policy is assigned, then in a compliance policy, Intune compliance policy, as I mentioned earlier, we can configure the multiple rule. In my example, it is checking in my conditional access policy example, the requirement is device must be encrypted. It the OS version, it must be running on a Windows 11 23S2 latest version, and the antivirus are installed, the password pin are installed. If the both condition will, or if all the four condition will meet, then only end user will be, then this conditional access policy signal will allow to the next level. If all checks pass and compliance are true, then then device mark as a compliance and token issues. If fail, and grace period for the Intune compliance policy is set to 0, then it will block the access. So the main thing is, if the device will meet all the condition, the encryption, OS version, antivirus, password pin, then it will allow. If it is not, then it will block the access. Okay, so this is a high level view, but I'll show you in a my a tenant as well. The main thing is Entra ID collect the signals. It check if the is this user is scope of any policy conditional access policy. What device is sending the request? Is this device registered in a? Is it compliance? What is the IP address? Does it match the name trusted location, or is it sign in risk score evaluated as per the Entra ID or not? Okay, cool. Now let's move to the demo part. I'll be creating a conditional access policy, which in the conditional access policy, the first check for the security point of view, uh, and to access the Office 365 application, and user must have to complete the MFA. For example, bad actor has the with this conditional policy. How this conditional policy will help? Let's say the bad actor stolen the end user credential and he has the access, but our application is not configured to our application does not have any condition set to access this application. User must have to complete the MFA or not. So will be, if the MFA is set, then to access any application, office active application, user must have to complete the MFA. So here this is my Entra portal, and what we will be doing here, I'll go to the all services, Entra ID, then I will be going to the security, and here in the security we do have the conditional access policy. There are multiple way to access this conditional access policy. You can access the entra.microsoftportal.com as well. So policy, here I'll create a new policy. So this particular policy is for the this particular policy we are configuring for the MFA thing, right? So what we will be do, what we'll do, will assign a name here quickly. CA policy, office rating, office 365 MFA requirement. So So now I will be giving you the demo to access the Office 365 application, and user must have to complete the MFA. Okay, now this particular policy you need to decide. I would recommend you do the testing first to the couple of users, and if you want to deploy this policy to your complete organization, um, deploy in a phased manner. So here, what we will do, we will be deploying to the user in group. I'll say HR team. I'll be applying this policy to previously I created this group, so I'll deploy this. And we do have some other option, user or external guest or external user, directory user. What directory user has, it has the all these admin level privilege, admin level RBAC configurations. For example, Intune. So we can configure the in this, with this what we can do, we can let's say the all these Intune admin has for the this particular let's say there is a one conditional access policy requirement, and that particular conditional access policy will apply for the only Intune admin, so we can deploy it from here as well. So targeting resource, so what resource we will be targeting here. I will be select resource, right, and I will select the resource here, Office 365. Okay, network. So this particular conditional access policy will apply, or this will be this will be checking this user is coming from which IP range. So for now we can create a custom, select the network allocation. For example, you can create a office office range, your new network location for your complete office range. So this, if you will create it, then it will be not checking it from the conditional access while doing the conditional access policy here. Okay. And if you want, let's say if you want you want to you do not want to apply this conditional policy from your office, if any request is coming from your office network, then you want to exclude it, you can exclude this conditional access policy from here as well. If you will exclude it, then end user must not have to do the multi-factor authentication when they are coming from the office network. For now, I will be selecting it yes, and what I will be doing it, I will be blocking the all these requests from the Russia location. Now the conditional access policy, right? Here, what we will be doing it, we will be excluding the user risk. If we configured, if your user is the high risk, then this conditional policy will apply. I will be not creating it this for now. Now I will talk about the device platform. So this conditional policy you want to apply to which of OS version, Windows, Mac OS, and for now that we will keep it for the Windows and Mac OS only. For the iOS and Windows, we will be creating another policy because in a real world, uh, company used to give a BO, bring your own devices, which is for the phone, bring your phone device access. So we'll create a separate policy. I will show you in detail. But for now, this particular policy will be creating for the Windows and Mac. Okay, click on a done. Now the location, we already selected the location. Don't need to do anything. Client application. So, what does mean by this? Let's say we when we create a conditional access policy, so end user can access this application via the browser as well as from the mobile app desktop client as well. So if I will configure it, then this conditional access policy will apply on a both type of sessions. If end user will try to access from the browser, then also this conditional access policy will apply, and if end user will try to access the Office 365 from the application which is installed on their computer, then both the things will be secure with this option. Filter for the device. If you want to exclude any condition, any devices from this condition access policy, you can exclude it. I'll not configure it. I'll show you. Okay. Authentication flow. So control how organization use certain authentication flow. I'll be not covering this one. Now, if the user and agent, target resource, network, if all these configuration will meet, then it will decide we need to grant the access or block the access. We can configure the grant the access. So before granting the access, end user must have to do the multi-factor authentication. And if your devices, or if you're in your company you are using the Intune, and if your all the devices are compliance, then only check this option required devices mark as a compliance, because if you will check both the option, then the both condition will apply to the user while accessing the O365 application. So make sure before checking this one, your all the corporate devices access, you are not breaking any end user access. Okay, click on a select. Now we do have an option to read only, off and or off. Okay, so I will click on a on, create. So this particular condition access policy I configured for the um, I configured for the HR team only, because we have not selected all the users. Right here, the last option. Sorry, I missed that session. So, what's the session control do? Let's say you end user has all the configuration. It is meeting the requirement, but this particular access will valid for how long? Right. So you can do this particular thing here as well. So you can say we need a re-authentication in every 2 hours or 6 hours. So although end user receive the access on a Office 365 application, their device is compliance, but they must have to re-authenticate in every 6 hour. This is just to improve the security posture. With this all these configuration, we are making sure environment is secure. Okay, and I would suggest enable the reporting mode only rather than enabling it for the all the users. Just enable the reporting only, so that way you can you can observe what how it will be impacting your environment. It will this means that it will evaluate every sign in record result in sign in log, but does not eventually force anything. It will not immediately block any end user access. Once you configured it, validate it, I would say validate all these sign in log for 7 days. Here you can check the sign in log. validate the sign in log for 7 days, and then see the configured whatever the configuration you did, right? How it is, how many users are blocking, and how many um, application will impacted, right? So you can export the log, you can download it, do the analysis, and then only enable it for the production. This is a one recommendation from as per my experience, right? So with this, right, what it will, what it is again, if tool is in an Entra built in a policy estimator, you can test any combination of user and a device IP with this sign in log, right? And also what you can do, you can do that what if condition. I'll show you quickly. See, this is a what if. What actually do it does, let's say my ID, right, Anand Kumar, which application I want to validate, for example office. Okay, let's say this example only, right? This particular application, and we can say user is using which platform. For example, user, I'm using Windows. The client app or desktop app, it's I'm using the desktop client. Modern authentication flow, none. Insider risk, moderate. Sign in risk, low. User risk, low. IP address and country, let's say I'm accessing it from the Russia. Where's Russia? Here it is. Okay, if you are using the IP address or country, both field will required. For example, let me give you the example. 91680. Okay, the request, I'm accessing it. What if? Let's see. Is compliance true? So here you will, we can see before making this policy, we can see what if the with this particular thing, what will be the impact. Okay, so now with this particular policy, you understand, right? Why this? But what's the conditional access policy and how it will be helping? Right now, in this is my test tenant. I do not have the much configuration here. That's why it's not showing. But in upcoming video, I will be showing you how to troubleshoot it. Okay. Um so you can create a multiple policy, do the testing with the test users, make sure you are not breaking any company environment. Do the proper testing, do the what if, use the what if option, and initially apply it on a read only mode, and see what is the impact. That's all in this video. I'll be covering more in upcoming video. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please hit like, comment it if you have any questions. Also, I am this is my blog post. You can come here, you can read that particular thing. I'm posting all the recent news here. This is a zero trust related, so you can visit here and get more detail. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Have a good day. Bye. Take care.